Hey, what's up, guys? It's Austin, and we're back for episode 2 of Shiny or Shitty, which episode number 2, number 2, ha! Do you like video game clothes? Well, we sure do, and so does Homeboy Advance. So check out his Etsy page at etsy.com, then search Homeboy Advance. I digress. But anyway, this episode is going to be about one of my favorite franchises, and that's Star Wars. If you watch our videos, you know for a fact I'm a Star Wars fan because I wear Star Wars shirts almost every episode. I've liked Star Wars since I was a kid. I've always thought it was so cool to think about having a big space battle, and the story's so great. It's just a great franchise. So today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. I don't know if you can see it or not on the screen. This is actually the N64 cover art. This is actually a port from N64 to PC. That's how I'm playing it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is going to be a little bit different than last week. I actually played this game before instead of doing the I'm going to play it along with you guys thing, because I wasn't really all that crazy about how it turned out last week. So I'm going to do it this way, and if you guys want me to go back, let me know in the comments. But this game was actually really good. I was super impressed. The only thing I didn't like about it were the controls. The controls were a little bit weird, but like I said, it's coming from N64 to a PC, so I don't think everything mapped the way it really should have. But I'll talk about that more. I'm going to put some gameplay after this. But all in all, this was a pretty good game. But I'm going to let you guys decide what you think. I'm going to put some gameplay in. You guys can watch along, kind of see some of the stuff that's going on in the game, and let me know what you think. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get this thing booted up. So once we hit play, we come to our create new character window. So this is where you can select what resolution you want the game to run, what difficulty you want to run it on, and you can name your player. Since I am America's most original person, I named mine Austin. So we're loading in now. And take into consideration as this video goes on that this game was originally made for the Nintendo 64 and ported to the PC. So what I'm doing now is I'm selecting my level. It kind of shows you what you have to come, but we're going to go ahead and select the first level here. And in traditional Star Wars fashion, we have a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That music though. So I thought this was pretty interesting. I'm not sure if the N64 game has this or not, so hit me in the comments if it does, but this has actually got a cutscene in it, which is pretty well made. I don't know if that's for the PC only or for the N64. Like I said, if somebody knows, let me know in the comments. But the cutscene's pretty good for the time period. You gotta think this thing came out in the late 90s. Alright, so here we are. We are coming in. We're actually going to be flying one of the spacecrafts on this level, and it's actually really good. I kind of expected that this would be the worst part. The only issue I had was with the controls. What I did was I was using a mouse and keyboard, so I came in here to the controls and I just hit next set, and the very next set fixed it exactly how I wanted it to be, and I was flying pretty naturally, really. I'm not going to lie, I had a damn good time playing this. I've never been one that was about the space flight sims or anything really having to do with flying a spaceship around, but my god, this was so much fun. Blowing these drones up, doing that sort of thing. I had a great time in this level. So pretty much the purpose of what I'm doing now is it comes in phases. You start off by killing those little probe droids. They're easy, and then after you finish this level, you move on into the portion where you're actually going to start fighting the bigger stuff. So that's what we're going to do next. Alright, so in this stage of this level, we are fighting these ATSTs. So it's not really all that hard. It's a little bit more challenging than the first level, but it's doing what I think a good game should do, and it's warming you up with a easy, moderate, then more challenging difficulty level instead of throwing you right into the deep end. But as I said before, I had an absolute blast playing this level. The controls were pretty intuitive, and if you notice, as I'm turning, the rudders on my ship move. which that really impressed me for the time period this game was made. And you can tell that just little details like this, a lot of care went into making this game. Even though it's an older game, it plays so well. It's a lot different than our game last week, Pressure, which was okay. It wasn't really that great, but this game is, in my opinion, it's a real gem. It's a classic, and I had a great time playing it. So we're going to go ahead and jump to the final stage. So now it's time to fight the big boy, the AT-AT. And wait till you guys see what you have to do to defeat this thing. It really, really blew me away with how awesome it was. So what we're doing now is we're coming up on it. I'm using my brakes, and as you can see, both of my rudders on the back came out. And then I shot a cable to trip this thing up, which it's awesome. I can't get over how cool it is that I used a tow cable to trip this big thing. Like I said, for the mid-90s, my God, this thing it really did some really cool stuff. So I failed that go-around, but you get the point. And like I said, this level really blew me away. So now we're going to jump into the next part of the game, which is kind of like a third or first-person shooter, depending on how you want to play it. You can actually switch your camera angle. And that's something else about this game. For the time period, I mean, it's got so many different levels of gameplay and variety of gameplay that it really keeps you on your toes and enjoying what's going on. You don't get stagnant doing one thing, flying planes, or doing a first-person shooter, third-person shooter kind of thing. You get to switch back and forth and really see all this game has to offer. So let's go ahead and jump into the next part. Alright, so now we jump into, we're in a hangar, and what we're trying to do is make our way to an upper floor and turn some power switches back on. Very reminiscent of other old games. You kind of have a place you need to get, and you have to click the door along the way. But the shooting is actually pretty good in this game. You can aim as far as like on multiple axes, but it's easier just to kind of aim left and right. That's what I'm doing, as you can see. As I'm going through here and massacring everybody, because at this point in my first go through, my recording messed up, so I kind of know where everybody's coming from. So I might look like a pro, but after you do it 8 times, everybody should be a pro. And the controls on this are a little bit different. Once again, anytime you play a retro game, and anybody that's just now getting into retro gaming can vouch, it's hard going back to controls and technology that isn't up to the standard you are now. So you need to think about that before you play. And don't judge something because of what they had at the time. If they could have made it like an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One or whatever next generation console you play or PC, they would have done it, but they didn't have the tools at their disposal to do that, so they did the best they could. So be respectful of what the people that made this game tried to do, and they did a really good job for what they had at the time. So like I said, we're going through, we're massacring everything in sight. Like I said, the overall difficulty of this game isn't super high. It's really manageable. The hardest thing is that learning curve on getting the controls. So I'm going to do a quick cut real quick and show you guys the end of this level, and then we'll wrap up the review. Alright, so just to fill you guys in on where we're at, I've flipped our switches, got our power on, so now I'm going back to the hangar, and what do I have waiting for me? An ATST. So, once again, in the vein of a lot of games of this time period, you do your menial task, and then you have a boss. So this is the boss of this level. Once again, I've played it a bunch of times now, so I kind of have an idea what I'm doing. Seemed to be the best strategy was to crouch in this doorway and just shoot the piss out of this thing. So that's what I'm in the process of doing now. And once it goes down, I'm going to run out, go to my ship, and the level's over. So I'm going to take the rest of this gameplay to talk about what I thought about the game. I really liked it. This game was what it is, an old game. And it did things well, it did things not so well. But in the grand scheme, this is a great game, and I recommend it to everybody. Buy this game. It's like, if you buy it off G2A, it's a few dollars. If you get it off Steam, it's like $6. It's worth every penny. Just for the first level alone, it's worth $6 to fly around and shoot laser beams at spaceships. Alright guys, so that's it. that was the gameplay footage. I really, really, really enjoyed this game. It might be because I've always loved N64 games. And as you can tell by the content that comes out on our channel, we like retro stuff. Other than the controls, at first, I felt like a nun in a brothel. I had no idea what was going on, and nothing seemed to work right. But as I went along, I figured it out, and I actually really liked it. It's still not perfect control-wise, but it's good. So I really recommend you guys check this game out. And remember, we always give away a copy of the shiny or game. So check it out in the comments below, right? I want that. And we'll pick a winner at the end of the week.